the act of sitting in meditation can be understood in very simple terms. We are interested in practicing a balanced state. In the highest teachings from the greatest masters, they talk about equanimity as the highest state. Equanimity means balance. Equanimity means evenness. And they talk about this equanimity and this state of balance because the awareness that is our true nature is capable of being in balance. But before you can experience balance, you have to experience what you are. So the practice of meditation involves sitting still. I mean, if you think about it, somewhere back in ancient history, somebody came up with the question, what the hell am I? You know, somebody came up with that question. Somebody came up with the question, what am I and what is this? You would think that those two questions would be questions that every human being should ask and get answered early on, right? If you're going to be in this world, you should know what you are in this world, and you should know what this world is, and you should have some idea what's going on here, like what's this all about, right? No wonder people are as crazy as they are, because you're brought into the world, right? The world is an already happening thing, right? The world's already going on, right? And you show up, right? And you're just thrown into what's already happening, right? And you're just told, okay, you're that physical body, you're a personality, go to school, get a job, make money as much as you can, be happy, you know, and avoid death. That's what you got to work with. No wonder people are crazy, right? So somewhere along the line, somebody said, wait a minute, what's going on? You know, what am I? What is this? And they decided that what they would do is just sit still and be quiet and see if they could notice it. Because obviously, whatever it is that you are is here, isn't it? Yeah, whatever it is that you are is here, right? It's happening. And so, you know, as my friend Paul Hederman says, you know, there's conscious contact. You know, our senses allow us to make conscious contact, right, with the world, right? And then the voice in their head said, you made that conscious contact, right? The awareness in its natural state makes conscious contact with the world, right? And then the voice in your head said, you are the one that made conscious contact, and that's the beginning of the personality. How did it begin? A thought. I am, you know. I am what? I am. I am what? And so then it fills in the background. I am what? I am a physical body, I'm a personality, and I am a man or a woman, you know, I'm short or I'm tall, I'm, you know, all the rest of it, right? You get a personality profile, right? And then you have a complete personality. The problem with that is that complete personality doesn't exist outside of thought, because its creation was a thought activity. Its creation was a thought process. You know, and we don't notice this because this is what's going on with everybody. You know, this is what happens to every kid, right? And so, you know, when you're a child, you don't know anything, so how are you going to question what's going on? And everybody else seems to know what's going on. I remember when I was a kid, I actually thought, maybe you did too, I don't know. I actually thought that adults knew everything. They must. They must, you know. And then as I grew up, I realized that not only do they not know everything, they hardly know anything. No wonder they're crazy. Yeah, when you wake up and you start to make contact with the truth, you know, you start to realize that most of humanity knows very little about reality. Most of humanity has no idea what they are. Most of humanity has no idea what's real, what this is, right? And has no idea what's going on, what this is all about. So they make shit up, And it doesn't work because it ends people up being crazy. So one of the things that you need in order to have this practice be fruitful, in order to have this practice work, is you have to have a will for the truth. You have to be interested in this question of what am I? You have to be interested in this question, what is this that's happening? And that's a will for the truth. The truth is the answer to what am I? The truth is the answer to what's happening. Is it possible to know the truth? Yes. But not as a concept, but not as something that you learned in school. They're not teaching truth. They're teaching being a civilian and making money in school, right? They're not teaching the truth. Maybe one of the reasons they're not teaching the truth is because there's a lot of belief systems that are in conflict with one another about what that truth is, right? But what this practice is saying is that if you're in existence right now, right? What do you have to believe in terms of what you are? You're here. What do you have to believe in terms of what you are? Just experience it. Just allow yourself to notice it and experience it so that you can get out of that misunderstanding, right? That you make conscious contact with the world, and you can get out of the misunderstanding that the thought that told you made conscious contact with the world, this character called the personality, you can get that cleared up and realize that that's not accurate. It's not I think, therefore I am. See, that's the nature of the personality. I think, therefore I am a personality, because the thoughts tell me I am a personality. I think, therefore I am, right? But if you look at that closer, it's not hard to see how could you think unless you were aware first in order to think. You can't think unless you exist, right? So it's not I think, therefore I am. It's I am, therefore I think. And what I think that I am, right, will put me in a never-ending pattern of circular behaviors and circular thoughts and circular emotions and circular this, right? That's the symbol for crazy, right? Circular. Repeating patterns over and over again, thinking that at some point they're going to work. That's called crazy, isn't it? So one of the things these teachings and practices allow you to do is to start to get real. Start to deal with the reality of what you are and start to deal with the reality of life, the reality of the world. Well, you see, that's the thing. There's nothing wrong with thinking, and there's nothing wrong with your memory, right? It's useful. Thinking is very powerful, isn't it, right? And having a memory is very useful to be able to remember things, so you don't have to repeat things. The thing that has it not work is that you aren't awake to it. You are identified with it, right? So that which is thinking and what you are is the same thing. You are your thoughts. You see, you're so identified with your mind that when you have an emotion, you don't experience the emotion, you be the emotion. I am angry. You are your thoughts. I am this physical body. That's a thought, right? But I've identified myself with it, and now I am that. Now, there's nothing wrong with thinking. There's nothing wrong with there being patterns. What's wrong is being asleep while that's happening. That doesn't work. To be asleep means that you can't see when the patterns are dysfunctional. You can't see when the patterns don't work. And so they just play and have you behave how you behave, right? And then you make a fool of yourself. You behave the way you behave, and then you cause problems and get yourself into conflict and suffer, right? Right? And then after you do that, you don't want to look like you're crazy, right? So you make up an explanation. You made me do it. The devil made me do it. Right? I had a bad headache. That made me do it, right? So we make up excuses and explanations so we don't have to deal with the truth, is that we're crazy. That's a very enlightening observation to make, right? If you make the observation that you're crazy, you might be willing to let go of identifying with the personality so you can go sane. Because the craziness is a function of identifying yourself as a personality, and that personality is a concept.
We could blame our personality and not take responsibility.
Sure, you can blame anything. You can blame the weather. You can blame anything. That doesn't make it true. That's why I say this is about having a will for the truth. You know, you can think anything, you can feel anything, you can make up anything, right? But that doesn't have anything to do with reality. Doesn't have anything to do with the truth. So this is the beginning. You're the Zen mind, beginner's mind, right? This is the beginning. The beginning is an acknowledgement that my life as I have lived it doesn't work. My life as I have lived it doesn't work. I'm not manager material. I need to discover something that must be missing, because the way I'm living my life is just a repetitive pattern of failures, of disappointments, of insults, of tension, of anxiety, of depression. And if I want to get out of this, right, I have to allow myself to begin to consider there may be something fundamentally wrong here, right? That it may be that the basis of my life is incorrect. The basis of my life is not realistic. It's not real. I am not this body. I am not this personality. I am what I can experience myself to be. I am the experiencer of my life. I am not what's in it. I am the experiencer of what's in it. I am the experiencer of thinking. I am not the thinker. I'm the experiencer of the body. I am not the body. That's what, that if I say that to you, that sounds pretty obvious, doesn't it? You're the experiencer of everything, right? And yet, although it sounds obvious as you live your life, that's not the experience you're having. You're not the experiencer of what's happening. You're the thinker of what's happening. You're the person that's living your life. You're the physical body that's living your life. And since that's not true, it'll never work. No matter how long you try and make it work, it can't possibly work, because it's not the way it actually is. And if you wake up to your true nature as awareness itself, right, then you can get into balance with everything that's happening, because you have a source, you have a foundation that's actually real. The awareness that you are is actually real. It's alive. The personality is not real, and it's not alive. So you're a ghost when you're being the personality, and you can never be satisfied. You can never be satisfied, because the personality is in a state of constant change. You eat food and then you're hungry again. You have a pleasurable experience and then you're searching for the next pleasurable experience. It never ends. You have no place to rest your head. You have no place to experience well-being. So that's what this is about. This practice of meditation is not just for stress reduction. It is very, very important. It can make the difference that makes the difference. It can allow you to begin to experience a natural experience of being well. The language is not so important as the experience itself. The language is not so important. See, that's the whole thing. The concepts don't get the job done. You can understand the concepts about the teachings, right? And that's inspiring, right? That's inspiring, but it doesn't change the quality of your life. It doesn't make life any easier, right? That's why the practice is necessary. The practice is necessary so that the concepts come alive. The concepts become real when you experience your true nature. It doesn't matter what you call it. Language is alive. Concepts, the concepts about reality are not reality. Whatever names you give your true nature is not your true nature. Your true nature is nameless and formless. It can never be named. It can never be understood. It can never be conceived. And yet, while that's the case, you are it. You are that which can't be named or conceived. So it doesn't matter what you call it. What matters is that you're experiencing that you are it. And if you experience that you are it, now you have a place to come from. Until you know what you are, you have no place to come from. You're coming from a lot of thoughts that are changing all the time and feelings that are changing all the time, and how can that possibly work? Yeah, because what's happening is the What's happening, if I ask you what's happening, what are you going to do? You're going to tell me what you think is happening. You can't do anything else. Right? That's why they say that's not that important, because an interpretation of reality is never going to be reality. So I don't care what you think. I don't care what I think. I care what's real. I care what will give me, I care about the tree that will bear the fruit, right? I care about what will actually work. And this works. The truth works, and that's why being committed to it works. If you're awake, what's happening is thinking, right? But what also is what's happening is being, right? But until you're awake, being isn't happening, only thinking is happening. You know, if I ask you who you are, you can't answer it other than tell me what you think, because you don't have an experience of being yet. That has to come from sitting still and being silent and allowing yourself. You know, see, when you sit still and be silent, you know, what you're doing is you're eliminating a lot of the noise, a lot of the distraction, a lot of the interference. That's all. You're just eliminating a lot of the noise, distraction, interference. And if you sit consistently over time, all that stuff will die down gradually, just because you continue to sit. You know, you don't give up. You don't give into it, right? That'll all start to die down. And as that starts to die down, it becomes apparent, you know, that which you are is being directly experienced all the time. Your true nature is being directly experienced all the time, not like a thought. It's there before thinking. It's being directly experienced all the time. You're so used to identifying with thinking, it takes a while of practicing sitting still and being quiet for it to dawn on you. You know, wait a minute, this awareness of the body breathing, that's me. I'm the awareness. Not only awareness of the body breathing, but I'm the awareness of everything that's happening all the time. And if I identify myself as that, I can start practicing being in balance.